Discontinued
Gravy.
gravy.
Discontinued gravy.
Goal: to simplify life and make it fun.
Because we've been there.
I mean, we're in our mid-20s.
So we've seen it all.
This is
Discontinued.
gravy. Gravy, guys. This is gravy.
The gravy.
Gravy.
Because we tell you all the things you want to know about our lives.
We put the hot sauce in the gravy and we stir that pot.
Mm-hmm. I want to know, have you actually had hot sauce and gravy now?
No, I haven't, but if anyone
you just
has,
like saying it.
please let us know, because I feel like it'd be good. Spicy gravy, does that not sound good?
I feel like there's probably a poutine that has that.
Yeah, like you got yeah, I think poutine, the second you get out of like the curds, the gravy, and the fries, I think you're just kind of stretching poutine, but I don't know. I think hot sauce and gravy would be good. Make your turkey a little more fun.
Your turkey.
What else
Right,
do you put
you can use gravy on other things than turkey and poutine.
Like what?
Roast beef.
I mean, I guess. Anyway. Krista,
Mashed
how are you?
potatoes.
Well, but that kind of goes inherent with the turkey, I think.
But see, I would have just grouped that under poutine because it's potatoes.
Yeah, but mashed potatoes are different than fries. Like, that wouldn't be... A poutine specifically has fries.
Yes, I know that, but at least I'm grouping it in the same type of category of vegetable.
Right, but
it
when
comes
you
from.
have a turkey dinner, what else do you have on the side? Do you have anything other than mashed potatoes?
Sometimes I don't have mashed potatoes if there's too much cream in it.
Yeah, but where do you get your starch? Now, some people might say, like, yam, like the mashed yams or something like that. But your stereotypical turkey dinner is turkey, mashed potatoes, and seasoned vegetables.
You didn't say cranberry sauce.
I had it in my head, but other than boomers, who uses cranberry sauce?
You didn't want to add another sauce to the mix.
I just didn't think boomers use it, man. Nobody I know uses it.
Excuse me?
Do you use it?
Yeah, I love the canned stuff. It just comes out like jelly.
I think we have a boomer. We might need to change. We're in our mid-20s, because I don't know if you are, Krista.
Excuse me, some of us are older than each other. Nick.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were saying you were older than me, and I was like, what?
No. We're going to have to change our slogan at the beginning because of you.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
We're just going to ride this wave as long as we can.
As long as possible. But, Krista, how are you?
Whew. I'm doing good. I've been very social lately, and I feel like I said that last week. But again, people are just asking to hang out now.
Yeah.
And I don't have an excuse. Like, on a weekend, people just assume that, like, if you're not at work, then you're available.
Yeah.
And if you don't come up with a good excuse, then, like, you have to do it? Does that make sense?
Gotta go, yeah.
Right? Like, every day, something busy. Like, yeah, on Saturday I was by myself, but I was still running errands and doing things.
True, yeah.
And I still saw some buddies, like, for dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
That
it's been good. It's like, kind of exhausting, but I will ride that wave until people stop liking me again. I'm just not used to having a social life.
What can you say? We're pretty famous with our podcast. I mean, people want to talk to us.
Obviously. People pull me over on the side and they're like, hey, I recognize your voice.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be like, oh, I heard your voice on Spotify. Damn.
Okay, but what about you, Nick? How are you?
Well, I had an interesting interaction. It wasn't this week. It was the week prior, but the milk thing last week kind of took priority because that was just terrible.
Jeez.
But I was hanging with some friends. We were hanging down, near the Lonsdale Quay, in that area, park, hanging out.
Okay, side note, I thought it was called the Lonsdale Q.
Or the Quay.
Yeah. Because I've heard people call it like the Quay or something, so I was like, maybe it's Q.
No, it's a North Van thing. We all call it the Quay just for lulz.
Okay, so maybe I've heard you say something like that.
Probably. It was probably me, yes.
And then I was just saying it wrong on top of that. So just
Yep.
a mess in general.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Absolute mess. So anyway, this is actually one of the parks where you're allowed to drink in Vancouver now. So people were having a fun time, right? But it kind of started to rain, and we were under this like pier hood thing, so people started to walk over, and there was this girl. She just walked up, and she's like, "Do you have LinkedIn?" And of course, I was kind of the sober one of the party,
As usual.
and everyone was kind of like silent. And I just looked at her. I'm like, "Yeah." I decided to have some fun. She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have LinkedIn." She's like, "All right, I'm gonna add you." So I met this person on randomly, and I added her on LinkedIn, and then our friends started to come by, and we started talking. They're all local people. They're all going to different universities, and they're all cool people. And I told them about Discontinued Gravy. They all thought that was really cool.
Nice.
So if they happen to listen, I don't know if they are, but Jessica, Julia, Louise, Chris, what's up?
So I think you just got a shout out on the podcast.
I think you
what?
just got a shout out on Discontinued Gravy. But so that was kind of fun because they were cool people. They were fun. It was fun to talk to them. It was.
Nick, did it occur to you at all that they might be hitting on you?
I mean, they were significantly younger than me, but I mean, I say that being like, oh my god, but they were like, I don't know, 20, 21 ballpark.
Yeah, they're in university, so like I would think that they're around 20.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't know how. Even if you are drunk, I feel like it's gonna make you do something like that even more. And like, what a good icebreaker. Hey, do you have LinkedIn? It sounds like a business connection. That LinkedIn is actually where people get down and dirty now, apparently.
LinkedIn and chill?
LinkedIn and chill? No.
But it was fun to, because like I say, like I'm sober, I've been around this before, I know how it goes, and you know what, it's kind of fun to entertain some people sometimes in that sense.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, for the LinkedIn thing, it can actually be really helpful if you just have contacts. Like, you have no idea what these girls are gonna.
Oh, 100%.
So.
I have random people who've just added me, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but you're there, and you're semi where I want to be, so hey, let's connect anyway.
What's up?
What's up?
No, a girl I worked with for like not that long. Like, I've worked with people for like years. This girl was like maybe a few months. She wrote the nicest LinkedIn review, and I didn't know you could even do LinkedIn reviews.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Right? Like, she just wrote it's basically like a comment on your wall if you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And you can choose to have it on there or not. But it was like nice. I was very shocked, and I told her, I was like, I'll definitely try to reciprocate. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can top that. Like, her writing and her words, they must have been so true.
That's good though.
Yeah, I know. It was just a nice feeling to
totally.
Be like, wow, you had no reason to write this unless you wanted me to write one for you. But like, even then.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's true. That's true.
That's so cool. But it's so funny that like with the hotter weather too, like going back to the conversation about being around drunk people, how much more you're going to see that now.
It's times changing. We're getting vaccines. It's warm. I mean, look at this. I turned full trash white boy because it's just too hot in my place, but
at least you know that, Nick. At least
at least I can identify that I am a trash white boy right now. Yes
that gives me some comfort in that knowledge, but I mean it's a good jersey.
I mean, yeah, Vancouver Grizzlies, come on, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, the man.
Yeah, I know exactly who that is.
Didn't you see the Grizzlies games when they were here?
Oh, yeah. I was 10.
When were you? I guess off the podcast, I mean, they left in, like, 1999.
Okay, so I was 4.
Yeah, so I don't think you ever saw a Grizzlies game.
No. See,
I did.
exactly.
I saw one. And it's actually a really hilarious story as to why I saw this Grizzlies game, but do you want the story?
You're gonna work for it? Sheesh, Nick.
I don't know. I think it's hilarious. A lot of people, like, get down after I tell the story, and it's really kind of, anyway. So
okay, just tell us now.
So this is like 1999, and a lot was going on in my family. Just there was quite a bit. Okay, so basically, in like September-ish, October-ish, I broke my wrist. A couple weeks later, my mom broke her ankle, and then about a month later, my grandma passed away. A day before my birthday.
Aw, I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it was a while ago, but
Yeah, I was 6, so I'm not like heartbroken over it. Like I knew her, but not overly well, so it's not like a sore spot. Anyway, the school, the elementary school I did weekly draws for different things. You got tickets or a book or something like that. And I got this on good authority that contest was relatively rigged towards our favor.
good.
So it turns out my sister actually won the Grizzlies tickets, and like my dad was literally like, no, rigged. So I could thank my elementary school and a lot of unfortunate matters that I saw the Grizzlies play. But I remember it. I do remember being
Hey,
there.
who cares? You got some free Grizzly tickets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd trade the Grizzlies tickets for what happened, but
No,
life goes on.
Not at all.
Life
but,
goes
I mean,
on. We have to take what we were given, and you know what? Make lemonade.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my story of the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Wow, good times.
Isn't it?
Not good times. I take that back. I'm sorry, cut that out.
Isn't that? That's what I mean. People get awkward. Oh God, I just saw my farmer's tan on the camera. Oh my God.
Nick, stop lying. You're just flexing for the camera.
I don't have any muscle, Crystal. Look at this. There's nothing there.
Yeah, you were a soccer player growing up.
Yeah, I played
and a
goalie.
baseball player.
Yeah. Does it look like I go to the gym? My workout is lifting barbecues.
I mean, some barbecues can weigh a lot, so.
Triceps, baby. But no, but for real, it's ugh.
See, as a woman, a feminine person, I get to put on fake tanner and people not notice.
Yeah. I can't do that.
No, but I also think there's a certain amount of pale you can be with putting fake tan on.
Fair enough. There's a line.
Like if you or someone who's ginger or something, I just feel like you can't do a deep fake tan. Like maybe you can like do like the lightest shade that's like human color. Or just like make it a bit more like olive skin tone maybe. Does that make sense?
No, but okay.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna get to our topic this week because we actually have one.
We do, but this was a good start. We had a lot of interesting things.
Hey, we're interesting people, and now that we're going out into the world, I hope you expect more from us.
Yeah, stories are gonna be bigger now.
Oh yeah.
So be careful.
I mean, I wish I could tell some stories.
There are definitely a few we have in like a really hidden bank, but like
a certain amount of time has to pass.
Sometimes you guys, I guess we should, just preface, don't tell us everything. Actually, wink, wink,
no.
tell us everything.
Oh jeez, everything's copy.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, we're just kidding. We're just kidding. Yeah. I mean, we've kind of learned our lesson, maybe not. Anyway.
No, not from that. No, but we are respectful people. We will not share your deepest, darkest secrets. Maybe our deepest, darkest secrets, but not yours.
Nick.
What?
You're so on that one topic, eh?
High School Musical, baby.
Yeah. Always.
Anyway, we're not talking about anything remotely close to this. We're talking about.
Are you gonna say it?
I was gonna say work, but I don't know. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're talking about work. Nick is right, but to be more specific, to give you kind of like the topic of our essay.
Yeah. Yes.
Is about taking initiative at work and what to do when you feel like you're stuck at work and don't know how to take initiative.
True.
Because I'm going to be honest, I have had some ups and downs recently, and I feel like everyone gets that way at work. You kind of, maybe it's part of the funk, that we just talked about in the last episode.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Mercury retrograde or whatever was going on in the system, I was just not a happy camper. Mm-hmm. And in all aspects, like work, life, most things going on. This past week, after Tuesday, everything's like lifted up and felt lighter. And I'm just like, wow, things aren't so bad anymore.
Sun's out. Things changing.
Right?
Yeah.
But just to give some backstory of what's kind of been happening is basically at work for me right now, it's been very customer service based, and that's not what I want to do ultimately. But I'm at a place where everyone chips in kind of where it's needed. And even though we're trying to do sales tactics and try to develop that side a bit, it's not outside sales. It's kind of still more inside sales, and I don't find that as satisfying, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then to go one step further, I felt like I needed to do something, like without being asked, I need to show them what I can do. And I know that's kind of like an odd thing for people. You're getting paid to do your job, like you're doing that. But I had an urge that I wanted to do more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ever get that way, Nick?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, there's, as this great man once said at the depot, we said there are people that check the boxes, but then there's the people that check the boxes plus. Like they did the criteria, but they went above and beyond. You know what I mean? Like for example, like recently we all the stores at the depot had to do a video celebrating Pride at your store, like Pride Month for all that stuff. Not Home Depot Pride, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, odd timing.
Yeah, no. So anyway, we were talking about it. We did. I thought we did something really cool at our store. But we were noticed by it. And that's, and he was just like, there, a lot of stores, they're busy and stuff like that, but they did what they had to do. They did what they did. But they did it. We took that step further. We took it on and said, we're going to do all of this instead, and make it as cool as possible. So that's kind of a thing that, we're taking your initiative, oh, we can do the bare minimum, but why not do something really cool? You know what I mean? It's like the exact opposite of my high school life.
Okay, but the difference is that, like, doing video editing and filming and doing voiceovers, the creative side of that stuff, you love. Like, that's your jam. I think that's the difference.
Way cooler than English and science class, that is for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But not even just that, just, like, at work, you know what I mean? It's like, like when I started at the depot, I'd been in the hardware business before. I knew a lot about it already. So, I got hired for the seasonal department, but you know what? I know paint as well. And, the second I saw them, they had a lineup, I went over and was like, do you need a hand? And they're like, well, do you know? I'm like, well, yeah, like, I know
enough.
I know how to work this machine. I don't really know the bare paints. And they're like, okay, well, give it a shot. And you know what I mean? Like that just added a layer, you know what I mean? Like, that's where, I earned respect from the paint department, you know what I mean? Like, I took the initiative to go over there and be like, I know this, how can I help? Rather than just be like, oh, I'd rather not, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with going in and doing your job. I just want to let everyone know
it's really important to do your job.
Yeah, exactly. And you have other stuff going on, Yeah. But if you need maybe like something to fuel your soul, or just to like have more of a reason than just getting paid.
Yeah.
I think that's when taking initiative is so important. And like Nick said, it's the simple acts of like, oh damn, there's a lineup, but I can help with that, being that guy. And I'm sure that it was so appreciative, not only by paint, but I'm sure other people noticed too. Like, oh, Nick does everything. Like, I'm sure you're the guy that does everything now.
Yep. That's a blessing and a curse.
Yes. Be careful being that person.
Yeah, because it like I said, blessing and a curse. Like, it is really rewarding. It's really nice to know that people trust you, but at the same time, you can get spread too thin very, very quickly when you're the only one. But no, like taking initiative, and it also helps, especially if, you know, maybe you're wondering, you know, why haven't I taken the next step in this career yet? Why is this job not looked at me yet? When this person has only been here 4 months as to my 6 months, but they've already made the step. You know, maybe they're taking the initiative. These are things that people see. Like, there's a lot of things that people see that you don't know that they see. You know what I mean? Like you gotta show yourself. You gotta go, as I say, above and beyond to, you know, make yourself notice. So then they'll take you in. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you been in a situation where you saw somebody move up when you're like, the hell?
I'm sure lots of people feel that way,
Yeah,
and it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, but it's one of those things. It's like they probably deserved it for a reason, right? Like I remember working in a golf club, not the last one I worked at, but the one before. I remember one of my buddies, they got asked to be a supervisor, but I had been there 2 years longer, and I was readily available. But the reason I asked them, because I was like, hey, like you know where I am, and they're like, yeah, we do know where you are, but we know your focus is on school, and we don't want to take you away from that, because this job would take you away from that, whereas we know this person, they're going to be spending a bit more time here. So it's also, like, again, blessing and a curse. I've been there for almost too long at that point, right? Yeah. Like, they already saw that, hey, she's at her 5 years, she's going to be leaving.
Well, that's actually a good point. You're too long. Like with taking your initiative, especially at a new job, you need to do it ASAP. Because if you've been there 2 years and you haven't really done anything to improve your standing, they're done with you.
You know what, Nick, I disagree on that. I feel like if you're willing to all of a sudden be that person that's going to take initiative, have a sense of urgency about your work, because they're not expecting it from you, they're going to notice. You know, they're going to be like, oh, like, they're in a good mood today, and that's happening more often. I feel like people do take note of that. I do understand what you're saying, that maybe the other person is going to move up quicker than you.
Yeah, like, I do agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying, like, it can't happen, but most times you got to do it quick. Like, they'll come around eventually, like, especially, yeah, if you started doing it, started showing more initiative, taking that urgency and being like, well, okay, we're here now. But it in the, you know, let's just, for example, it in the 2 weeks when you started, it would have taken for you to get noticed and move up. It's now taking 1 month for you to get noticed and do, like, it's almost double the work that you're doing, because, you know, at some point, like, there's some people that might just say, okay, when does this stop? How long can they go for this?
Yes, and that is fair, because they're going to be like, what's going on? And maybe part of that is actually talking and saying something to your managers or your superiors, right? Like, if you're doing those things and you think you're taking initiative, sometimes it does help just to go say, hey, like, I think I've been doing all these things. I think I deserve A, B, or C, or I've earned this. Yep. Keyword, I don't think anyone deserves anything. You've earned it.
It's true. You can't have the mentality of, like, hand it to me. You gotta show your work and show that, as you say, you earned it. Like, nobody, like, you can deserve it because you've worked hard. Like, you earned it. You deserved it because you earned it. But you can't.
Yeah, exactly. You deserved it because you earned it.
Yeah, no. But it's important. It's important to get out in the gates and do fast.
Yeah, and I think it's, at least, I know women tend to be more agreeable in nature. I know men can be too, but there is that stereotype, right, where men move up quicker because they're maybe more vocal about their needs or wants or how they're being treated, whereas it's been proven that women are more agreeable and they're willing to let things go on for a bit longer or not speak up sooner. You know, like, oh yeah, I can do that, no problem, but not asking for your worth after that. Right? Like, Nick and I are saying, yes, be that agreeable person, do that sense of urgency, but also know your worth, because people might take advantage of that, and that's the scary part.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like that, you know, you become a yes person, you know what I mean? They'll keep asking you, and you'll keep saying yes, and that's not gonna change. And, you know, there are the people that, you know, just put their head down and do the work. Don't expect anything. Whatever will come. But as you're right, they're the guys that are boisterous and like, well, I did this the other day, therefore I deserve this, and you're being like, I did triple that the other day, and I'm not here yelling.
Yes, and it's hard to find that fine line.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do I be without being that obnoxious asshole and still be my humble self sometimes?
Yeah,
so
it's a really fine line.
Really a hard thing because it's like your anxiety speaks up and you're like, but I would have done that anyways,
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times you're like, I do that all the time anyways. Still, that matters.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And sometimes you just even need someone else to point that out to you, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't know how to bring it up. I actually am not good at that at all. My fiance and I are talking about like a game plan for me in the future about how I can do certain things. I'm like, I've never thought about things this way.
Well, yeah, and that does help, getting a second opinion, and people will be like, okay, like this is my situation. Like, okay, I've been here this long. I think I deserve a raise, for example. And you can just be like, well, I've done all this, I've done all that. But, another person being like, okay, but have you ever talked to them prior, just kind of slid it in subtly? Like, have you been talking about the things you're doing? And not like being in like, oh, yeah, I did this today kind of way. Being like, or, like kind of being loud about it, but, going up to somebody and being like, oh, man, that was tough. I just did all of that.
That's a great point. And even setting aside time, like a performance review.
Yep.
Being like, hey, like, can we set aside a performance review in a month from now? I want to set these, like, and then what do you want from me in that meantime? So you have goals that you are set out to achieve. You're like, okay, I can do these things in that time frame. Yeah. Then you have something to point to.
Well, that's also a great thing, especially because if you're saying that, you're showing your worth. When you go to a manager, be like, performance review, 1 month, let's do it. Somebody's going to notice that and be like, whoa, okay, they're committed.
Yeah. No, I'm scared to do a performance review because I know it's not a normal thing to do at the job I'm at currently because there's a high turnover rate in some of the positions.
Right.
So they're just kind of used to people not making it to that point, or if they have, they've already had the conversation at a later point. Right? And I think that would just be very difficult. But again, like speaking to a friend, Nick, that's great advice. Like I remember asking my friend, hey, when do you do performance reviews? And she gave me all this advice because her workplace has more structure, right? And just hearing how something else works can help you be like, hey, okay, that would make sense here. Or you know what? Like, I'm kind of glad the way we do it here. But someone to be like, yes, no, maybe, just to bounce ideas off of that maybe you don't directly work with. Because, I don't know, when you're at work, it's like, it feels more of a competitive nature.
For sure.
Right? Like, no matter what, like, at the end of the day, if you find out someone's making more than you and you feel like you're doing more work than them, you're going to be pissed.
Sucks.
Right? And it sucks. And it's just better not to maybe have that conversation. So maybe have that conversation with someone who doesn't work at your place of work.
Now, what do you, like, performance reviews are generally the same, but do you have any advice for, somebody who's going into performance review where they're looking for something and how to act when performance reviews arise?
I haven't had a performance review in 3 years, so...
Really?
But I realize that's a big issue. Like, it's actually very important for your own development in a workplace, and also important for the employer to learn about your goals and wants, right? Like, how are they going to know that you want to do A, B, and C if you don't set aside the time to do that?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Right?
100%.
And I think just setting time aside to do the performance review is probably the best advice I can give, because I'm going to try to follow that myself.
Fair enough. I just mean, like I've been in a few performance reviews. It's kind of a normal thing at the depot anyway. I mean, I won't go into any specifics about it, but it's like just some examples, like when somebody comes at you with a criticism, like it's always going to be constructive. They're never going to be, unless you've been a terrible employee, they're not going to come at you pretty badly.
I mean, it also depends on your type of employer. Some employers, hopefully they're not in the HR department being the ones that give you this criticism, but will actually like look for flaws.
Yeah.
And I don't mean criticism, straight up flaws.
Yeah. So like, but I think instead of arguing with it and being like, well, I don't know if I do that. Honestly, take it, because that'll show a lot. That'll show integrity, humility, and be like, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I do that too often. You know, maybe I can scale that back and work on it. Now, if you absolutely vehemently disagree and say that is not me, that is also a very good thing to say. Just be like, I didn't do that. Like, I think that's false. I don't believe that has happened. Again, that is showing confidence in yourself and showing that you can stand up for yourself. So it's a fine line, but I find a lot of the time if there is a criticism against you, it's not for the worse or anything. You know, you can just take it with a grain of salt and just be like, you know what, I accept it. I understand. I will be better. I will perform better, and you'll see it. And you know what? The next time that performance review comes around and it's cleared, they're going to notice.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's also one of those things that, like Nick said, if you can take that criticism, you can also ask questions about it. Okay, how do you suggest I do better with that? They're going to realize that you're actually paying attention to that, I hope. Yeah,
that is a good point. You know, you're not just taking it and being like, okay, whatever. You know, and be like, well, okay, so because I'm doing that, how do I not do that? What is a better use of my time or something like that? You know, like engage with it. Create a discussion around it. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, no, Nick, that's really great advice, because like I haven't had a performance review before, so I mean I have before, but it was in like a part-time job, really.
Yeah.
So it's not the same level of a full-time job, right? They don't get to see you every day and see you trying to develop or know that you want a career possibly out of this.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's other ways you can take initiative at work, and recently for me, I've been trying to point myself into doing the things I want to do, because I want to look back at my time here and say I was able to do all that, not just that I spent my time there. So I was trying to point things to being like, hey, I can actually do PR and marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I have a communications degree. I can do more than customer service.
Yep, 100%.
Right? But again, they're busy. They don't have time to remember that stuff when they first hired me. Right? Sometimes they just need a reminder. So I set aside time and was like, hey, Friday at 3, can we quickly go over some marketing strategies? Came up with a little presentation. And yeah, it didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to, but it was a really great discussion. And then today, my name got put forward for a different project, because they're like, Krysta did a really great job of A, B, and C. And I believe it's because I brought up that I'm interested in doing these things. You know, yeah, maybe in that moment they couldn't do all the things I wanted, but they remembered that. And today I'm like so happy. I was like, wow, like today was a good day.
Well, that's what I say. And it's not, that may not show quickly. It could be months before they come around again and be like, oh, hey, that thing you want to help on that. Like, it could be a while. Like, you got to be really patient. You can't, there's badgering, there's good and bad badgering. But
like, I was lucky. It was only about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
But
yeah.
Yeah, you just got to, you like, if it's been 6 months, I might be like, okay, like, hey, like, just want to touch base about that. You know, like, it's okay to, but if you're going like 3 days after and be like, well, like, of course they're not going to have anything, right? So it's good to wait your time, because it will come around.
Yeah, and I do agree with Nick. Like, 3 to 6 months is probably the sweet spot, because in 6 months, you don't know. You could be looking for another job by then, right? Easily. If you're that unhappy with the circumstances that you're in, and you were like, oh, I already tried to change things and they didn't listen to me. Yeah, you're probably already going to start looking for something. So I'm glad that Nick is right. Like, bring it up when at a certain point, 3 or 6 months.
Yep.
Because you know what? People are forgetful. It's a sad truth. People are forgetful and lazy.
I mean, I'm definitely one of those people.
Right? And that's what makes it so hard to take the initiative or do extra things. Because it's like, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to take that on? It's
that, and is it worth it? Is another question, you get around, like, 'cause you maybe you are thinking about leaving this company in 4 months. Is it really worth your time to shoot this up? You know what? Maybe you don't like your job there, But if you move up in the company, maybe the job's better.
Yeah, and maybe you get paid more.
That's the plan. But you know, like you got to kind of you got to evaluate the pros and cons with yourself. You know, like there's a time and place to take initiative, but you know, if you know you're leaving in 2 months, I say probably not worth your time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes jobs will see that you're trying to leave and try to keep you by offering you those things. Almost every single time I've seen that happen. Yeah, the person stays for maybe 2 extra months.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're going to be leaving soon. Offers of something. They still leave because they're just tired, you know? Like, there's some people just need change. Sometimes it might work, but I think those people are the people who don't just want money. You know, they want something more. And I think you also have to know that going into those conversations, what you want out of it.
Yeah, it's true. It's not, as much as it is about money, it's not always about money. They're the people that'll do the work that pays well, and that's fine. You know, that's maybe not their true passion, but they have a job. And, you know, there are other people that need the passion to do the work, you know, like I'll say I'm one of those people. You know, I didn't just go into a career that I kind of like just to make the money. You know, I went into something I really wanted to do that I know is not great money, hence here we are. You know, like it's you know, it's a fine line. But there are lots of jobs where they have jobs within the job that are worth it. But you got to find it. You got to find that you know and want it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's exactly that. You might not be aware that that's even an opportunity that you could have, right? Mm-hmm. There's jobs that I have no idea how people get them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, even for example, like you know, radio school. What do you think when you go to radio school? You think
you want to be on the air.
Right. You're thinking you're like your whole goal is to talk on a mic. Now, to be fair, that's a lot of people's goals, but you don't realize what you can do with the radio thing. Like, I can write radio ads now. I can voice radio ads. I can produce these ads. I can produce whole episodes of stuff. I can produce radio shows. I know how to work a board. I know how to fix this equipment. I know how to set up this equipment. You know, like you learn, and that's just even scratching the surface. That's not even like half of what you can do. You know, like marketing and stuff like that, like sales, everything. Like radio on the surface just seems like people talking into mics, but behind the scenes there's a lot of stuff that goes on in radio, and there's a lot of stuff you can learn in radio. So a job may look like this, but on the inside there could be a lot more to it.
Yeah, and it's taking that opportunity to say okay, and also maybe asking questions. You know, like, maybe someone's going to ask you, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, no, thanks. Right? Like, you're going to laugh it off because, like, you maybe think you're above it or something else.
Yeah.
But, again, if you maybe ask why they thought about you, maybe there's a particular reason that it's going to be of interest to you.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, I didn't realize that I'm going to be able to be Ariana Grande's assistant.
Yeah.
I don't, like, if someone's like, oh, do you want to be an assistant? I'd probably be like, no. If they tell me that's going to be Ariana Grande's, I'd be like, hell yeah. Yeah.
It's always good to ask questions and not just take the first thing. Just be like, okay, well, what does that entail? You know what I mean? Like I'll take it for an example. You know, like there was recently an opportunity presented to me. It's an opportunity I've been in before, and you know, I knew the person. They're like, well, how would you feel about doing it again? But I was like, okay, well, maybe. But like I was like, well, what would I do? You know, but then they started telling me about what I do, and it's actually a step from where I was. So because I asked, I could have instantly just said, no, I'm good. I could have easily just been like, nope, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. But because
and no one would have blamed you either.
No, not a single person. I don't even think the person asking would have blamed me. But, you know, the fact that I was like, well, maybe, like, what's the idea? You know, and then they explained it fully, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's actually that's probably a good idea. So you know what I mean? Like, just simply asking and inquiring. Like, just because you ask doesn't mean you still have to say yes. Well, I think a lot of people think that. I think the second you show interest means you have to say yes. You can easily show interest and just be like, actually, you know what? This is not going to be good for me.
Right? And I think the same thing about like interviewing. Some people are like, "Oh, like I'm not sure because there's this one thing I don't like about it." Well, you don't have the job yet. You know, like you haven't even interviewed for it yet. Maybe that's something that's negotiable, right? Or you're like, "Oh, they never hire me because of I don't have that one thing, or I'm missing that."
Yep.
Again, they might not even care, right? You don't have it yet. So asking questions or just being interested in something, again, doesn't mean you have to say yes.
Yeah, it's shooting your shot. And I'll say I'm terrible at it. You know, like I've definitely looked at quite a few jobs and been like, I'm not qualified for that. But it's relatively proven that they put higher standards on the job listing, but are actually looking for a step down of those standards.
Well, if you think about a job listing, they want someone to do something they can't do or they don't have time to do.
True.
That is why it's maybe a certain expectation, but they don't even know what the job really is yet at some points. Like I'm talking maybe a bit higher than like a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they don't even know what this person's really going to be doing.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Like they have the main points, but the other things are just going to get filled in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so hard, like one of the hard parts about being in your mid-20s. Like, people expect you to have your life planned out or be able to make decisions very quickly about your life. Right? Like, it's one of those things. It's like, you have to say yes or no so quickly. And that's very stressful.
Well, it is. I mean, there's a lot of times, you know, like, where you have a job, you want to leave it, but there's comfort. And, you know, who knows if you'll like that second job. There's plenty of cases where people have, you know, gotten a job, worked there for 2 weeks, and be like, haha, nope. You know?
Yeah, good for them.
Like, so I mean, like, it's hard to leave comfort, and, you know, like if it's a job that's working for you, it's hard to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna move on. But, and you know, the job might come, and you've been like, you know what, nope, I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do.
Or maybe you just don't want to, like, I can't give up a full-time paying job because you're in your mid-20s and you don't really have a savings yet. Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to blame you, but it's one of those things, again, you're probably going to go towards the thing that is a less of a thrill happiness to you because it pays better.
Yeah.
It's because you want to be able to make your rent or something because you don't have a savings and you can't just be like, screw it, I hate this, I'm moving back home. Because you're like, I'm in my mid-20s, people expect me to be doing A, B, or C.
Yeah. No, it's true. Exactly. There's a lot of components into it, but you just sometimes you just got to take the initiative, even if it means it failed. You know, like, I think it's long proven, and we've talked about it before, failing is not a bad thing in a lot of cases. But sometimes you just got to shoot. You miss 100% of the shots, you don't take Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Isn't I mean, not the Michael Scott part, but Wayne Gretzky, isn't he going to do, like, play-by-plays or something soon?
He's gonna
I heard.
He's going to be doing, like, the analysis, like, in the pre-games and intermissions. For ESPN.
Okay, I mean, love him. He's a Canadian legend.
Yep.
But I've only ever heard him speak once, and he's a hockey player.
He's the greatest hockey player of all time, yes.
Yes, that's all I'm gonna say.
But you know, he took initiative. He even said that when he got hired. He's like, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
Did he actually say
He
that?
did. He used his quote. He used his own quote.
Okay, I kind of adore that. Like, if I'm at that point in my life and I can quote myself a famous Canadian quote, that's so cool.
Yeah. Wow. I wish we were all like that man right there. But you know what I mean? Like he's taking a shot that's been given to him. Like, Wayne Gretzky doesn't need to take this shot. I don't know if you know, but this guy's pretty freaking rich.
Yeah, he has many different type of incomes.
Like he's doing pretty okay. He does not need this job by any stretch, but you know what?
No, he's doing it for fun.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Why not? Mm-hmm. He's Wayne frickin' Gretzky, and he can take the shot if he wants to. And you know what? You should use those same values, because you know what? Take 100% of the shots. Just why not? Take a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And stop putting so much pressure on yourself if someone says no. Like, again, you might say that as a failure if like you go in and try to take initiative and someone says no.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Yep.
It's sad, but it is gonna happen, and I hate that when I watch that happen. I'm just like, let the person grow and try to do things on their own. Yeah. But it might happen. But again, maybe the next time you do it, it will work out. Great.
Yep. I like to think when, like, what's the worst thing they can say? No? Because it's true. It's literally the worst thing they can say.
You're in the same position you are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except maybe you're a little embarrassed.
Yeah, like, sure, it sucks. You can take a day and be like, well, that sucks. But overall, you know what? No. It's for a reason. Things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most things.
I would say a good 99% of things that happen in your life probably should have happened.
Right, it's one of those things. Yeah. I mean, there's certain things that I'm like, yeah, maybe not, but Nick's right, like
future 90%. Episode.
Oh, topics, baby.
But anyway, yeah.
Anyways, we will end with Nick's quote. But I do want to say, stop putting too much pressure on yourself. We are only in our mid-20s, and
we've seen it all.
Yeah, we've seen it all. You missed 100% of the shots you didn't take.
You miss 100% of the gravy you don't pour.
Oh, you don't get to eat any of it if you don't pour.
That's really good. I like that.
Are we going to put that on a t-shirt?
You miss 100% of the gravy you don't pour. I like that. I think that's...
Oh my god.
I don't know. I like it, Krysta.
I wonder if people like our quotes or realize how we try to have quotes.
I think our quotes will look great on t-shirts, and I think people would buy them. Even if they didn't listen to the podcast, I feel like that could be a fashion statement.
Ooh, merch.
Nick's talking.
Funny that you should say that.
Yeah, we've been saying it for how long, Krysta?
I know.
Anyway.
Nick and I just love merch, okay? Leave us alone. Nick and I were in charge of merch at the old radio station. I mean, we weren't in charge of it, but we begged
We made it happen. We made it happen.
Remember that.
Remember that.
Anyways, I think we're on to a very important section.
Oh, yeah?
Or segment.
Are we?
Are we?
I think so.
I think it's something that I like to call questions of the week.
Beautiful.
I was going for like Sarah McLachlan vibes.
I sold her a barbecue.
Thank you. What? Did you tell me this before?
I had to have. I didn't tell you. I sold Sarah McLachlan a barbecue.
Does she live around here?
Oh, yeah. She lives in West Van.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We have some cool celebrities that live in Vancouver.
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I mean, if I was going to live in Vancouver, yeah, I'd probably live in the West Van area.
Yeah, why not?
Where
the rich people are. Come on.
Yeah, come on, why not?
Anyway.
Anyways, okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Okay.
Great.
Nick and Krysta, how do you figure out the fine line between treating yourself and just being disgusting or unhealthy? I can't seem to stop spending money on the full fact of just treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
That's a good question. Wow.
Great question, because I definitely do that more than I should as well. Where's the line between treating yourself and being disgusted at yourself?
It is a fine line. I mean, like, just like an example off the bat, it's one of those things. It's like, ooh, McDonald's. You know what? Treat yourself. You know, like, you've been really busy lately. You haven't had it in a while. Go get it. Treat yourself. Having McDonald's 3 times in 1 week is, I feel like maybe there's a line there, maybe?
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe because it's unhealthy, but also, like, I know you're going to come back and you're probably going to go, this is the 3rd time I'm having it this week.
I think it's important to know that you're being disgusting. Like, the second that comes into your head, that's when it's disgusting. Like, don't think it's happening. If you're thinking it, it's happened.
You've already passed that line.
So I think the most important thing is noticing, realizing it, and then, putting it off. Because I know a lot of people, like maybe for girls, they buy, makeup more than they need to. They use this one specifically when they go out, even though it's 2020 and we haven't been able to go out for a year and a half, but you needed it. Or it's me buying Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys because why not? You know what I mean? Like I think it's just realizing the moment and understanding, there are ideas to put it around, instead of spending that, I don't know how much lipstick costs, $20, $50,
$30 for a nice one.
$30. Instead of spending that on lipstick, put $30 in your savings for the month.
Ooh, you're one of those people.
Hey, it's smart banking, Krysta.
It is really smart. See, my problem is that I don't have impulse control. I can be such a good little saver. Like, I will not spend any money on anything to treat myself for months. I can go without buying clothing, makeup, or anything. But then all of a sudden, I'll see something and I'll be like, I want that necklace.
Right.
And then I'm like, wow, like, that's nice. I haven't treated myself in a while. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, I really like buying that. And then I'm like, I need this and this and this. And it's all under treating yourself, right? But again, I probably should have stopped after the necklace, I should have been like, yeah, love that necklace. It made me feel better. I hadn't bought anything in a while. I deserved it. And I broke my other necklace. So, like, all good reasons.
It's noticing when the time. That's all.
Like, I should have probably stopped after the one or two things. But Nick is right. I feel like as soon as you get that feeling,
cut it.
Cut it off there.
Yep.
And then next time, try to realize sooner. And then it's slowly progressing. I don't think you can do cold turkey with this stuff. It's just the way humans are built.
It's the way it's gonna be.
So way it's gonna be.
Yep. Anything else?
Let me take a look-see.
We like your questions.
That was a good question. Okay, it's supposed to be super hot this weekend. I do not have an AC. What do you recommend to do to cool down?
Okay, I will give you the actual Weather Network's idea for cooling yourself. They said if you don't have an AC, we recommend you be in the water. I want to clarify. They said in, not near, not next to it, in the water. They want you to be in the water to beat the heat. So my recommendation, hit the beach, jump in the water, and stay there the whole day, because that's what the Weather Network's saying. And what else are you gonna do? If you don't have that and you're like me and have a simple black fan, maybe, there's like, those cold ice packs for injuries? Use it to cool you down, because it works.
What if you put that in front of the fan so it's cold air coming at you?
I don't think that really helps. I think that's more of a placebo thing.
Oh.
I find just putting it on your forehead, because that's where heat.
And the back of your neck.
Yeah, so just put forehead, back, neck. You will cool. You'll be cooler. I won't say you'll be cold, but you'll be cooler.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of all the people that get to go to the beach this weekend. I have to go to the dentist. I hope they have the AC.
It takes like an hour.
Probably take a bit longer. I haven't been in 2 years. They're gonna be yelling at me.
Okay, so an hour and a half, but you can still go to the beach afterward.
No, I can't. I'm a busy girl. My weekends are planned up for the next 3 weekends, and I don't know how this happened. I'm an antisocial person. It's crazy.
Well, you can find me at the beach after my work.
I was gonna say after work. Do you have AC at your work?
Yes.
Okay, people will just be walking around then.
It's more like you don't notice it, but you walk outside, it's significantly better inside. So it's that kind of AC. You don't notice it, but it's better.
I mean, it's so hard, though, because you have automatic doors that open and close all day.
Yeah.
You can't just keep the cold air
Fortunately, we only have 2 now, as opposed to like the 4 we had prior because of COVID. You only have an entrance and exit, but it's not the worst. It's like it's better. Let's just say that it's better.
Yeah. Anyways, those are our recommendations to beat the heat for the next couple weeks.
Yep. It's good. It's good.
But we have recommendations. Recommendations of the week.
We recommend things, and you do those things.
We hope.
That's the plan. Krysta, what you got on tap today?
Okay, so I actually came up with something and I forgot it. Like, I texted Nick today. I was like, I gotta think of my recommendation.
She did.
And you know what? My little mind just blinked. So I'm gonna say the other thing I had as a backup. My original one was better, and I will try, if I remember it, like I wake up in the middle of the night, I will try to write it down so I have something for next week.
That's what I did.
But I'm just gonna say Mother's new album just came out. Give it a listen. I've only listened to maybe half the songs. But you know what? Sometimes they hit.
Yeah, Mother. I dabbled, when Bit by Bit was a thing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But other than that, haven't really delved too much. I know their songs, they're playing on the radio and stuff like that. But good local band out of Courtenay, BC.
Yeah.
We respect the CanCon, but I will have to give it a listen. I haven't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's only maybe on Wednesday it came out, so.
Okay, we got time.
You got time.
We got time.
Okay, Nick, hit us.
Now, my recommendation on Tuesday of this week, I went on a little excursion out to Deep Cove. Yes, you know where I'm going with this. And I went kayaking with a friend. It had been 10 years since I'd been kayaking, and I thought, oh God, this could be terrible. You never know, you could flip, you could die, who knows. But no, it was actually really relaxing. You're out on the open water. There's you're not really in a controlled area. I mean, you have 2 hours, so you can't go too far, but you know what? You can go out and just kayak and see the world. It's peaceful, it's nice, it's fun. Grab a friend and go kayaking. There are rentals all around. Like, you can go Deep Cove. There's another park near that called Kate's Park that does it, and I think it was Jericho, I believe, also has a kayak center. So get out and kayak. And if you own your own kayaks, go nuts. Go wherever the hell you want to go.
I'm so jealous. I love kayaking. It's so much fun, but I don't have my own kayak, and I can't fit my parents on my car. How much was it? Do you mind me asking?
For 2 hours, and the kayak itself, it was only $50. I know that's not, I say only, but $50 is not the most expensive thing in this world these days. For an excursion like that, obviously I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time, but if you're just doing it once in a while, not the worst thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you think about it, if you're going out for dinner or something, you're gonna maybe spend close to $50, or going to the movies and getting popcorn and all that stuff. Yep. This way you get to be outside with nature.
It's very nice.
And you know what? I do recommend Deep Cove. I have been to the one in Alouette before, but the thing with Alouette is because it's not the ocean and it's not a cove, it gets very windy, and you can blow to the other side of the lake. Yeah, and it's really hard to get back. Where at the ocean, it can still get windy. Yeah. But in Deep Cove, if you stay in the cove, you're going to be okay.
Yep, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Anyway, go kayaking. That's my Discontinued Gravy recommendation.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yep, and that's it.
That is it for this week. Thank you for listening, Curds. Love ya.
We'll be back at it again with more Discontinued Gravy next week.
Talk to you later.
Peace.